Is underway this morning into another U.S. shooting, this time outside the CDC headquarters in Atlanta. Welcome back to Fox News Live, hour number 2. I'm Brian Yennis here in New York. And we begin in Atlanta with that latest on the shooting that took the life of one police officer, a veteran. Madison Scarpino has the details this hour. Madison.
Brian, the GBI is now identifying the suspected shooter.
Now, there's going to be several cases that I talk about in this fucking video. Now, they did this actually at 11 a.m. Eastern. I believe yesterday or today, I'm not sure. But the officer that was actually gunned down by the shooter that was attacking the so-called CDC in Atlanta, over in Decatur, this was done at 11 a.m. He is a father. He's 33 years old. I don't know how long he's been on the force. They said he's a veteran, but I'm not sure how long he's been on the force. But they say a lot of guys are veterans anyway when they die in the line of active duty, right? So Madison Scarpino, yeah, she's kind of fine too. Yeah, she's cute. But they did at 11 a.m. Eastern, right? This is the time. He's 33. And he has 3 children, which is like 2 children, but 1 on the way. That's 3. So that reference to 9. So I'm putting it together as 9/11. I'm not sure how long he's been on the force. We'll figure that out later. But it's several things I want to touch on in this video because it's several cases and stuff like that. From Cincinnati to certain areas and issues that's going on in America right now. Even the shooting that just happened in the Army base, I think in Fort Myers, something like that. But check out the clip.
As 30-year-old Patrick Joseph White, he lived in Kennesaw, Georgia, about 30 miles away from where we are here in Atlanta. He too has died, but it's unclear if it was self-inflicted or from police fire. That's all still under investigation. But right now, the community is mourning the loss of DeKalb County police officer David Rose. He was just 33 years old. He was a Marine Corps veteran, a husband, and a father of 2 children and 1 child on the way.
So that's 3 kids.
He was committed to serving the community. At this time, we're asking for the community's prayers for his family, his friends, his loved ones, and the entire DeKalb County Police Department family.
The Atlanta police chief says officers found Rose critically hurt at the shooting scene yesterday evening, not long after the first 911 call regarding an active shooter. Rose was rushed to the nearby Emory Hospital, where he later died. When officers found Rose, they heard gunshots coming from inside a nearby CVS. They found the shooter then dead on the 2nd floor of the store. Now, the Atlanta police chief says while nobody else was shot or hurt, the shooter fired at several windows of the CDC building, and there were also up to 92 children on that campus at the daycare center. The shooting prompted lockdowns there, at Emory University, and
See, she said 92 children. Okay, here we go with the 11 reference. He was 33, David Rose, the cop that was actually sacrificed. He was 33, plus he had 3 children. They could say 1 was on the way, but that's actually 3 children. So 3 equals 9. The 92 children that was on the actual campus of the CDC, which is kind of weird that the campus has a day camp or whatever, a children's facility is next to the CDC, which is really weird because I wouldn't do anything near the CDC. Because when the CDC, the shit goes down, they go through lockdown and them niggas is doing experiments in the fucking Center of Disease Control fucking facilities. I wouldn't put children there because they probably experiment on the fucking children there, letting airborne shit out or whatever. But that I digress from that. But we just got our reference for 11. 92 children was on campus of the 9 plus 2 is 11. The 3 children and the cop being 33 is 9/11. They always reference the 9/11 on all these cases. Check this out.
Several nearby schools.
This is not something that you ever want to have to go through. You can't really understand it until you're a parent and it's your kid. It's one thing to see it on TV or in a movie, but it's not a lot of fun.
So the GBI has now taken over this investigation, and there are rumors circulating online and in certain reports regarding a potential motive behind the shooting. But right now, both the mayor of Atlanta and the Atlanta police chief say that they cannot confirm any of that. Brian.
Okay, Madison Scarpino live in Atlanta. Madison, thank you. And for more now on the questions Georgia officials are asking this morning, Fox News contributor and former DC homicide detective Ted Williams. Ted, thanks.
So yes, the reference is that he's 33, which is 6, plus 3 children is 9. Also, there were 92 children in the campus on the facility that was there, which is 11. 9 plus 2 is 11. They're always referencing the 9/11 on these fucking mass shooters and stuff like that. It's something to keep up with, but this is what they do. So whether he was targeting the CDC or not, they said there was several shots shot into the CDC building. Apparently he's on the second floor of the CVS building, or the CVS pharmaceutical fucking pharmacy or retail store or whatever. And now, since I'm speaking on that, I'm trying to shorten this as much as possible as I can. But the factor is, there's a guy that's going to come out and talk about the Cincinnati melee that happened with the 8 people that was indicted for those fightings, and the actual shooting that happened at I think it was Fort Myers. Don't quote me on that. We're going to get to the end of the video. Watch this.
Rhodes was a DeKalb County police officer who ran toward the danger. And as a result of running toward that danger, he lost his life. What questions I have primarily is why? Why did this person go into the Emory University area right at the CDC there, shoot up the CDC, go into the CVS drugstore, and was found dead on the second floor there? So there are more questions right now than answers, but the primary question is, why did he do this?
Yeah, absolutely. Ted, I want to also move on to here. This is about our nation's capital, where President Trump is cracking down on crime there. Federal law enforcement has been given an order to increase the presence around that city starting this weekend. The president also announcing this morning that the White House will address this issue at a news conference on Monday. So what do you expect to hear from that news conference, and what do you make of the federal government here, the White House, taking a keen interest in involving themselves to this degree in D.C.?
You know, it is somewhat of a mystery because to some degree, crime is down in the District of Columbia with the exceptions of carjackings. But the police department, the Metropolitan Police Department, certainly welcome having at least 120 federal agents on the street. But I want to mention a name, Hostel Chibu. I stand to be corrected, it's Honesty Chibu. She was a 3-year-old child that was killed in the District of Columbia last month, an innocent victim of the violence there. So whatever help the president can give to the city, I'm sure that it is welcomed by the city and the citizens.
And generally, Ted, do you think this is a good idea? Do you think it sets a precedent for other cities?
Well, I think it is a good idea if it's more than just a Band-Aid. Quite naturally, I've talked to many people in the city, and they're somewhat suspicious of Trump because they believe that he wants to have a federal takeover of the District of Columbia, and they are certainly opposed to that.
Okay, so we'll see what happens there, no doubt. I want to now move on to Cincinnati, Ted. This is where all 6 suspects in that brutal viral beatdown were indicted on Friday. Now, they face 8 charges each and up to nearly 30 years in prison. Do you see convictions in their future, and your reaction to some of these folks being let out of jail already?
You know, Brian, I don't know why they were let out of jail. This was a mob. And these are 6 individuals that were attacked by this mob could very well have been killed. I would hope that the large hammer of the law will come down hard on these various individuals who committed these heinous acts. And the videos, those videos will be used as evidence. Everyone has seen perhaps these videos where these people are being beaten mercifully.
Yeah, there were about 100 people there, they said, and only one person called 911. I'm wondering, depending on how hard they push on convictions here, whether or not those who are bystanders and choose to do nothing should also face some consequence in the future in our legal system, or if that's even possible.
Well, I can tell you as a lawyer, those who were actually bystanders and looking on will probably not face any kind of law because they didn't violate any law and they did not have an actual duty to do anything.
Right.
But those who participated clearly are going to be held accountable.
Now, with them saying only one person called 911 in that Cincinnati situation, this it's called the Good Samaritan law in Massachusetts. I looked it up. Good Samaritan law. You are actually obliged to call 911 or intervene in a situation of robbery or something like that, unless there's a heinous crime that's going towards that person, that you can't get involved, but you are technically supposed to call 911. Not laugh and giggle about the shit of a situation going across and trying to get your views up and shit like that on TikTok or fucking Instagram. You're supposed to intervene no matter what. So that Good Samaritan law may pass through a lot of other states now, because as a Good Samaritan, not one person was calling 911. It was supposed to be several people calling 911, and certain people were supposed to intervene. And you see in the video that actually when they was getting stomped out and stuff like that, they were trying to actually stop what's going on, and people were actually trying to stop people, and because everybody's fucking drunk. That's the number one problem there. Number two, I don't think it was a race thing. It was just stupidity on everybody's behalf. Everybody wants to be outside, but don't know the risk that comes of being outside. You need to be on point at all times, and your wolf pack needs to be to a minimum. People just jump in the way of chaos because they feel like, they're being liberated. They could have fun and punch somebody in the face and do that other crazy shit. But check out the next clip. Fort Myers, or the military sergeant that they said he shot other fellow military officers because of a speech impediment. He was being bullied. You being bullied by the speech impediment? You really upset about that shit? This shit is crazy, bro. Check this shit out. Watch.
Suspected shooter at Fort Stewart, the 28-year-old Sergeant Cornelius Radford, is accused of opening fire at the Army base. 5 soldiers were injured. Those who know him are reporting he was bullied over a speech impediment. What do you think we'll learn about a motive and potential charges here?
Well, first of all, let me say, we are so thankful as a nation that those 5 soldiers that were shot were not killed. What we want to know more about Radford is not only what his motive was, how did he bring the gun onto that base, what and why and who was his target? Were all 4 of these individuals his target? Those are some of the things that we want to know about Radford. But we need to say thank God that 5 soldiers who were shot are going to survive, it appears, their injuries.
Yeah, that is, thank God for that. Ted, thank you so much for your time. I was just realizing here, your expertise is definitely coming to.
So now you see a situation at hand that the sergeant was able to get into the actual military base. He's a sergeant, but him being bullied over speech impediment, which is very strange, because everybody crack jokes on everybody in the workplace. Now, does that give them the right to shoot the place up? No. But does it give the right to people for bullying him for a speech impediment? No. Obviously, he's a smart person in general because he gained to the ranks of sergeant. Sergeant at arms, first class sergeant, training sergeant. They could still go on to move on to lieutenant and stuff like that. He's not an idiot, but there's certain things that's making people go crazy in this timeline. This timeline is so unique in 2025 that you can't possibly state to yourself and say, since 2020, they turned on CERN. They turned on CERN And now everything is moving at such a quick rate. We're in the 8th month of 2025. This summer's been the most hottest. We're going into another heat wave in the next couple of days, like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, in New York City. It's heat after heat wave, and people don't realize it's gonna be the worst winter as ever too. It's gonna be winter problems after winter problems after winter problems, no matter what. So the factor is, like, this sergeant, you can't fault him for being in the actual situation of coming to the base with a gun. He is allowed to travel with a gun. He's a government official of the United States Army, or whatever branch that was in Fort. I keep saying Fort Myers, whatever. But the factor is, people are losing their minds because of this. There's a video out with RFK. I don't know if it's AI, not like that, but the RFK, whatever is AI, if it's AI generated, I could believe it. But I don't think RFK would have. I don't think he would have said, if you took the shot, you have more gayness in you now. Now you want to see a Tim Watson. It was weird how the nigga said that shit on X. X is crazy. But the factor is, he said you're more into gayness because of the actual shot you just took. The actual shot, the fucking vaccination from the CDC. CDC gets shot up. 92, it's fucking bananas what's going on around here, B. And I still didn't do a video on the fucking the actual problem of the fucking so-called Manhattan size, 7 mile wide, or 7 mile in length fucking extraterrestrial hostile that's coming this way. That's supposed to be here by November, December. We already know that's going to be another hoax and shit like that. The conspiracy theorists, we're like 39-0 right now. We're good. It's conspiracy extremists, you want to call it. It doesn't even matter. But the factor is, there's sucker shit going on around here, man. And it's too much obvious shit going on, bro. But predictions such as love me, hate me, just don't between, like, comment, share, subscribe, help me on the motherfucking algorithm. I know I didn't post in a while, but it is what it is. I've been busy doing what I need to do to get through this Labor Day and shit like that. But you already know. Follow me on X, TikTok, Instagram. You already know.